Hello humanoids, welcome to Halfling Hobbies. I'm Halfling Hannah, and if you want to create a complete and in-depth world, you're gonna need the dark side of that world, and that is going to include some criminals. Your party may or may not be criminals themselves, and you can bet they're gonna come in contact with criminals over the course of the campaign. A lot of times we make the mistake as DMs of making our criminals these evil mastermind types, when in reality there are actually levels of criminal activity, which is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the 4 levels of criminal activity and how to include them in your campaign. Here we go. The first level of criminal activity and the lowest level is those that are desperate. These are people who are just trying to survive, and their situation is so dire that they have to resort to criminal activity. Or perhaps these are those who grew up in poverty and are so desperate to get out of poverty that they fall in with the wrong crowd. These poor and desperate people make up the bulk of criminal activity in most cities, and they're the ones who are most likely to get caught and punished because they really don't have any skill. They're only doing what they're doing because they're desperate. On the other side of that, you could have some people who are angry at unjust and unfair laws, and they are rebelling against those laws by breaking them. Because honestly, the definition of a criminal is just someone who breaks the law, and not all laws are good and just. So you could have criminals who are breaking laws out of necessity because those laws are inherently evil. This is going to make up the mass of the criminals that your party is likely to come into contact with, and they make for some really great roleplay moments because oftentimes there's some sort of moral dilemma that's going to go with that. That little boy that your rogue caught pickpocketing him, maybe when they pick him up by the scruff of his neck and are trying to get answers out of them, he reveals that his father died from the plague and his mother is now sick, and he's just trying to get money to buy a potion to save her. And then when they put him down, he flips them the middle finger and goes, "Ha ha, suckers," and runs off. This can have lots of twists. You can make it completely moral. You can make it just a fun interaction. It's really up to you, but this gives you a whole lot of options for criminal activities of good people doing bad things, maybe even for the right reasons. Level number 2 is the small timers. These are people who are actually trying to make a career out of criminal activity. These are going to be your pickpockets. These are going to be your scammers, your charlatans, those people who make a living out of tricking or stealing from people. They have a little bit of skill, but they are still likely to get caught because they're by no means masters, and they oftentimes work alone. In your campaign, this could be the snake oil salesman that goes from town to town, or this could be the pickpocket that your players encounter in the alley or in the bar and that actually succeeds on pickpocketing from them. This could even be criminals who are doing some kind of small-time heist that your players maybe interrupt. This is a little more specialized than your everyday common criminal, but at the same time, they're not gonna be amazing. They do okay, but they're not going to be great, which can also lead to some really fun moments. Level number 3 is where you start getting into the specialized and skilled criminals. These are those that are going to be associated with a criminal guild, a syndicate, or on the righteous good side of it, they're going to be a vigilante or a part of a vigilante group. So these have much more skill. There might even be some masters as a part of this guild or vigilante system. These are going to be masters of disguise, stealth, sleight of hand, lock picking, any of these types of things. They're going to be masters of that. These are the ones who are going to plan the big and lucrative heists. They're going to be the ones behind the stealing of artifacts or the stealings of museum pieces or something like that. These are your big time criminals who are not likely to get caught because they have skills, and if they are caught, they have a guild behind them or an organization behind them that's going to bribe their way out of it. These are excellent for side quests, like big side quests, thwarting this plan that has been revealed that they're going to steal something and then realizing that it's not just a common thief. They're actually part of something much, much bigger. And then your players can start diving in to uncovering that syndicate. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in criminal organizations and syndicates, do I have a book for you? I am currently working on crime lords and syndicates. It's going to be an entire book of NPCs. We're going to have 5 crime lords, and each of them are going to have 4 goons underneath them. So you can take these syndicates and put them into your campaign. If you are interested in that, be sure to subscribe to Halfling Hobbies here on YouTube so you know when I release it. All right, moving on to number 4, which is crime lords. These are going to be your masterminds. They work behind the scenes. You rarely see them because they're the ones pulling all the strings. They have all the political connections. They have all the money, and they're the ones who are probably behind these different criminal guilds or organizations, but you wouldn't know it because very few people even know that they exist. They're the ones who are going to be planning the really big level schemes, and this could be an entire campaign in and of itself to try and figure out who the crime lord is and get rid of them. They are never caught, ever, because they're too smart and they have too many layers of protection. It would take a lot for your party to take down a crime lord. If you're looking to add some depth and some reality to your campaign, I highly suggest you start sprinkling in some criminals of all levels, because that is what really makes a campaign a little more gritty and definitely more fun. I really hope that this helps to give your game advantage, and until next time, my friends, Halfling Hannah here, signing out. Big shout out and thank you to my wonderful patrons. You guys are awesome, and I know that you're excited about this ebook because you guys picked it. You chose for me to do crime lords and syndicates, and I'm super excited that you did, and I promise it's gonna be worth the wait. Thanks so much for being a patron. If you would like to join this elite list of amazing people and get the new ebook before it comes out, make sure to head on over to Patreon. Bye.